All right, we're ready to roll.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's telephone town hall with Michigan Democratic Party Chair Lon Johnson and State Senator Gretchen Whitmer. My name is Cassandra Albrecht, Chair of the Women's Caucus of the Michigan Democratic Party, and I'll be the moderator for tonight's event. We'll begin in just a moment, and we're excited to have you join us today. But before we begin, just a few quick points to make. Right now, we're in the process of dialing out to thousands of people, so just stay on the line and we'll hear from Lon and Senator Whitmer shortly. Also, we want to hear from you. If you would like to ask a question of Lon or Senator Whitmer, please press 0 on your telephone keypad and you'll be connected directly to one of our volunteer operators. Again, just press 0 to ask a question. And stay on the line, we'll get started in just a few moments. If you've just joined us, good evening and welcome to tonight's telephone town hall with Michigan Democratic Party Chair Lon Johnson and State Senator Gretchen Whitmer. I'm Cassandra Albrecht, Chair of the Women's Caucus of the Michigan Democratic Party, and I will be moderating for tonight's event. We're going to begin in just a moment, and thank you for joining us. Right now, we're in the process of dialing out to thousands of people, so stay on the line, and we'll hear from Lon or Senator Whitmer shortly. If you want to ask a question of either Lon or Senator Whitmer, please press 0 at any time during this event. Again, press 0 at any time to ask a question. And now, without further delay, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Lon Johnson, Chair of the Michigan Democratic Party.
Well, thanks, Cassandra. We're in great shape right now at the Michigan Democratic Party. We've got everything we need to win. We've got the candidates, we've got the issues, we've got the voters. Now we need you. We need your help to fight continuous Republican assaults on women's reproductive and health care choices. We need your help to fight for efforts to ensure equal treatment for women in the workforce. We need your help to fight cuts of over $1 billion to our education system. But in order to win, we need to solve one big political hurdle, and that's making sure Democratic women vote this November. In 2010, there were over 590,000 Democratic women that did not vote. Let me repeat that. 590,000 Democratic women did not vote in 2010. At the Michigan Democratic Party, we're working to fix that in 3 ways. 1, we're mailing out absentee voter ballot applications to women statewide. 2, we're mailing out polling locations to women statewide. And 3, we've created an online tool at myabsentee.com. That's myabsentee.com, which allows voters to apply on their smartphones to receive absentee ballots. Again, that's myabsenteeballot.com. We believe that all this research will increase voter turnout among Democratic women who did not vote in 2010. But more importantly, we need you. That's what this call is all about. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Lon. And we know that we won't be able to get to Democrats into office without all of you on the phone with us tonight, the activists, the supporters who are with us. If at any point throughout this event you feel inspired by what you're hearing and would like to contribute to the Michigan Democratic Party, simply press 0 on your phone keypad at any time and you'll be transferred to an operator who can help you make a donation tonight. Again, just press 0 on your phone keypad right now to be transferred to an operator who will help you make a donation right now. And if you cannot make a donation tonight, you can pledge an amount you'd like to give. If you would like to pledge $25, simply press 1 on your phone keypad right now. If you'd like to pledge $50, simply press 2. And if you'd like to pledge $100, you can press 3. Again, if you cannot make a donation tonight, but you would like to pledge any amount, you can press 1, 2, or 3 to make that pledge. And next, I'd like to welcome Senator Gretchen Whitmer.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be with you. And I've got to tell you, I'm very excited about this election. As the leader of the minority over the last 4 years, we take our jobs very seriously because we know we're gerrymandered into that minority. We are, in fact, the majority in Michigan. And I remind people what Michigan looked like 2 years ago in the election when Barack Obama won and Debbie Stabenow won. We might be at a 20-year low right now with only 4 women out of 38 senators. And it shows. It shows in the types of legislation that we confront all the time in the Michigan Senate and in the House, and legislation that goes to the governor's desk and that he signs into law. You know, this governor ran as a moderate, and yet we have seen an attack on women's rights constantly from the day he took office just until relatively recently. We see it at the national level too, but we've got to fight here in Michigan. It's time for pay equity. It's time to put an end to all the efforts to impede our ability to access health care. It's time to fight back on efforts like rape insurance, efforts to restrict birth control, if you can believe it, after the Hobby Lobby decision. We are in a huge battle right now, and it's a battle we can win. It's a battle I believe we will. My goal is to make sure that we not only leave the Senate better off after being there, but that we give, the next governor, Mark Schauer, the ability to sign legislation into law. And that is going to take an effort from every one of us all the way across the ballot. And it starts with everyone on this phone call. So I'm really grateful to be here with all of you, and I look forward to any questions that arise, and we appreciate your help, and we are all in this together, and we can turn this around.
Well, thank you, Senator, very much. And just a reminder, if you're on the phone right now and you do have a question for either Lon or Senator Whitmer, you can simply press 0, and you will be connected to an operator who will make sure that you get through for us to answer your questions. And I just want to remind you again, if you are unable to make a donation, which you can do by pressing 7, you can make a pledge by pressing 1 for $25, 2 for $50, and 3 would pledge $100. So we are now going to go to our first poll question. You can answer this question by your touch pad on your phone, and the question is, how often do you find it difficult to vote on Election Day because of your busy schedule? Press 1 for often, press 2 for sometimes, and press 3 for never. Again, that's 1 for often, 2 for sometimes, and 3 for never. And we have responses coming in now. We'll just give it just a moment, and then I will let you know what the results are from our first poll question, which is, how often do you find it difficult to vote on Election Day because of your busy schedule? Press 1 for often, 2 for sometimes, and 3 for never. And we have just a few more coming in, and we're going to stop the question. The results from that question are 9% say that they often find it difficult to vote on Election Day because of the busy schedule. 26% said sometimes it's difficult, and fortunately 64% of you said never. So we're really happy to see that, and of course we're encouraging you to vote on Election Day. Now we're going to go into our first question from the audience. I have Susan Inslee from Howell who has a question. And Susan, I'm going to open it up. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, I'm curious about what we can do to prohibit the use of guns or owning guns in the state of Michigan. It concerns me that we've had so much gun violence, and particularly in schools. I have grandchildren in schools. And I'd like to see a movement, but I don't know if it's realistic. Much like New York passed to prohibit the use of guns, particularly in schools. But generally speaking, I'm not in favor of guns. So is there any reasonable reason that that couldn't be passed?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. And Senator Whitmer, if you would like to take that.
I'll try. I'll do my best. You know, I certainly hear the stress in your voice, and you know, you think about that the New York changes happened after a tragedy that really brought people together to have a common sense conversation about guns. And I'd hate for us to wait until another tragedy happens before that conversation starts in Michigan. I've got to tell you, though, that I think that the best thing that we can do is elect more like-minded people into the legislature and, frankly, someone in the executive office who's ready to show some leadership. This really is a state that, prizes their hunting rights, and so much so that we took, the Republicans decided we'd go on a legislative break all summer, came back for one day, and the vote that we cast when Detroit was underwater after all the flooding, when they didn't have drinking water in Bay County because of the algae bloom in Lake Erie, when our roads continued to crumble, the one vote the Republicans wanted to take and, in fact, ensured we took was another effort to take away voters' rights with regard to the wolf hunting. They value that wolf hunt so much so that that's the only thing they came back from the summer break to vote on. And I highlight that not only to show how dysfunctional the current legislature is, but also to show that it is a powerful, powerful lobby in the state of Michigan. But I have seen powerful lobbies they fail in their objectives when the people are organized. We saw that on bullying. We've seen it on a variety of issues, and that's why I think it's so important that we get organized and that we elect like-minded people to public office.
Well, thank you, Senator. And don't forget, if you're on the line now, if you'd like to make a contribution to the Michigan Democratic Party tonight, simply press 0 on your phone keypad right now, and you'll be transferred to an operator who can help you make a donation tonight. Again, just press 7 on your phone keypad to be transferred to an operator who will help you make a donation tonight.
And thanks. Also, if you like what you're hearing and you want to get more involved, we need you at the Michigan Democratic Party. If you, by pressing 1 right now, we'll make you a member of the Michigan Democratic Party for free. Just by pressing 1 on your phone right now, we will make you a member of the Michigan Democratic Party. We need you. Thank you for your help.
And I'm happy to say that that has worked, because we are already up to 37 new members for the Democratic Party based on that alone. Thank you so much for pressing 1 to become a member of the Michigan Democratic Party. Okay, so we're going to move on to our second poll question of the evening. Actually, I'm going to give you just a few more minutes to press 1 to become a member of the Michigan Democratic Party, because it looks like we still have people doing that. So we're going to give it just a moment.
And within 30 days, you'll receive your membership card. And by becoming a member, you'll be more engaged in terms of, we'll get you talking points, notices of events, and so forth, and different candidates. When candidates come in your area, you'll be first to know.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our second polling question of the evening. And that question is, would you like to request an absentee ballot for this year's election? Again, would you like to request an absentee ballot for this year's election? Press 1 if you would like to request an absentee ballot. Press 2 if you need more information. So again, that's 1 for yes, I would like an absentee ballot, and 2, I need some more information first. We're going to take a pause and let you answer that question. Again, the question for the second poll is, would you like to request an absentee ballot for this year's election? Press 1 for yes, and 2 if you need additional information. And people are still pressing in, so far we have 70% who have said yes, they would like an absentee ballot, and we're really excited to see that. Okay, so we are going to stop that one, and happy to say that we had a number of people who registered for that, and we will be sure to get that out to you as soon as possible. And also, don't forget, if you would like to make a contribution to the Michigan Democratic Party tonight, please press 7 on your phone keypad right now, and you will be transferred to an operator who can help you make your donation tonight. Again, just press 7 on your phone keypad to be transferred to an operator who will help you make a donation. Lon.
Well, again, if you would like to become a member, please press 1, and we will make you a member for free. And we'll keep you posted on candidates in different party functions that are going on in your county. Again, please press 1 if you'd like to become a member.
Okay. And while we have individuals on the phone who are pressing 1 to become a member of the Michigan Democratic Party, we're going to take another question from our audience. I have Wendy Cole from Lansing, and Wendy, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I was wondering about the mailing of flyers about the different positions the Democratic candidates are taking, and I was wondering if they send them just to Democrats or do they send them to Republicans or somebody that's not sure, because it's hard for me to talk to my relatives, but I know that some of the female relatives, if they knew more about the attacks on women's rights, I would think that they would get out and vote for sure for the Democrats.
Thank you, Wendy. We're going to have Lon answer that question.
Sure. Well, thank you. A lot of the mail and the radio and the television will be coming out in late September and all through October. But in the meantime, anybody can go to MichiganDems.com, MichiganDems.com, and if you don't find the information you need there, we also there have links for all of our candidates across the state, from State House all the way up to Senate, to United States Senate, as well as issue information. Again, MichiganDems.com can be a great portal, and from there to learn about any candidate's position within the Democratic Party.
Thank you, Lon. And we're going to go now to Susan Hart, who has a question. Susan is from Flushing. Go ahead, Susan, ask your question. Susan Hart from Flushing, are you on the line? Okay, let me ask Susan's question for her. Susan's question was, what is the Democratic Party doing with the emergency financial management? Perhaps this is a question for Senator Whitmer.
Well, we have introduced, legislation in light of, the Republicans making an end run around the voters. One of the things that really has been a hallmark of this current legislature and governor is if they can't win by rules that are on the books, they just go change the rules. We saw that when it came to Oakland County redistricting. We saw that when it came to the wolf hunt, that, example I just gave you about the only vote we took all summer. And we've seen that with regard to the emergency manager. We saw that also with the rape insurance bill of last December. Governor Snyder, maybe one thing that he did that I agreed with is he vetoed that language, and then his own party ran around him because they didn't like it. And so what they've done is they rewrite the rules, and they did that with regard to the emergency manager law. We have seen the voters spoke on how they felt about the emergency managers, and this overwhelming majority that they have in Lansing right now just trampled right over their rights and rewrote the law so it stays in effect. So, in terms of the Democratic Party and where we want to go, I think with new leadership, Democratic leadership, we will see priorities that say, our inner cities are a priority. Our safety and welfare is important, and that is something that is going to be a priority in the budget. If the governor and the Republican legislature had lived up to the duties to ensure that our communities were funded appropriately, they wouldn't be in the process of being on a bubble of declaring bankruptcy or, being eligible to have an emergency manager appointed. So what we need to do is change leadership in Lansing. For the long term, but also we would have immediate benefits in terms of, taking care of these communities and sidestepping the process of even having an emergency manager. I'm confident that, a Governor Shower and a Democratic legislature would do just that.
Thank you, Senator. And we have another question for you. Sharon Jones from Westland. Sharon, we want to ask your question?
Yes. I was wondering, what are they going to do about the senior tax that they put on the seniors' retirement benefits?
Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon, one of my favorite names in the world. My daughter's name is Sharon, and she was named after my mother. So thank you for your question. I think that you have highlighted one of the most odious pieces of legislation that the governor proposed. As you recall, he came in and said he wasn't going to pick winners and losers, and he was going to move all of Michigan forward. And then in his first budget proposal, 2 months into the job, he proposed giving his business buddies almost $2 billion in tax breaks. And in order to pay for it, he cut my kids' schools and he taxed your pension. And on top of it, he took away the earned income tax credit from working people. This has been a priority of Democrats to repeal that pension tax, that retirement tax, as many say. And we changed government. We put Democrats in charge, and I'm pretty sure that is one of the very top agendas. That and probably funding our schools are the two things that Governor Schneider and the Republicans did. That would be our first two acts, I think, with a Democratic-controlled legislature. But until then, that pension tax is probably going to stay there, and we've got to get rid of it. And that's a great example of how this election is personal to every one of us.
Thank you, Sharon, for the question. And don't forget, if you're on the line now and you'd like to make a contribution to the Michigan Democratic Party, press 7 on your phone keypad right now, and you'll be transferred to an operator who can help you make your donation. Again, just press 7 on your phone keypad to be transferred to an operator who will help you make that donation tonight. And if you cannot make a donation, but you'd like to pledge an amount that you'd like to give, you can pledge $25 by pressing 1 on your phone keypad. If you'd like to pledge $50, press 2. And if you'd like to pledge $100, you can press 3 right now. Again, if you cannot make a donation tonight, but you would like to make a pledge, press 1 for $25, press 2 for $50, and press 3 for $100.
And every dollar you pledge or donate to the Michigan Democratic Party allows us to send out 3 absentee applications to those women who didn't turn out and vote. So thank you very much. Again, press 1 to make a donation, or press 1 to make a pledge, 7 to make a donation.
That's right. And we are going to go to now our third poll question. That question is, would you be interested in encouraging others to vote with an absentee ballot? Again, the question is, would you be interested in encouraging others to vote with an absentee ballot? Press 1 if yes. Press 2 if you would like to encourage others to vote absentee, but you need more information. Again, press 1 if you would like to encourage others to vote with an absentee ballot, and 2 if you would, but you need some more information first. And we're going to pause for just a moment while everyone presses 1 or 2 on their keypad. We have the numbers coming in right now. And so far we have 72% of you indicating that yes, you would like to encourage others to vote with an absentee ballot. Again, you press 1 to register that, and 2 if you would like to encourage others to vote absentee, but you need more information. And the numbers are coming in, and 75% now say yes, they would be interested in encouraging others to vote with an absentee ballot. And we are going to now close out that response, and it will remain at 75% of you saying yes by pressing number 1. So thank you very much for that. And now we'll go to one or two more questions. Let's see what we have on here. Beverly Miller has a question from West Bloomfield. Beverly Miller, please ask your question.
Hi. My question is, as a voter, I was wondering why we're not seeing local debates between the candidates, so that for those persons who are uninformed and they may only listen to one certain radio, TV station, it would be so advantageous to have verbal opinions expressed by the candidates so that we can actually hear, what the positions are on women's rights, on the minimum wage issue. And I guess I've been a little disappointed because I've not seen that on a local stage.
Thank you, Beverly. That sounds like a great question for Lon.
Beverly, thanks for the question. It's a great question, and it's for the simple fact that candidates, the Republican Party candidates, are seeking to hide. They'll do anything to hide the fact that they cut schools by $1 billion, tax seniors' pensions, have come after women's reproductive rights and health care choices. They're from the top to the bottom. They're avoiding debates. Senator Terry Lynn Land, who's running for the Senate, has refused to debate Gary Peters. Governor Snyder has refused to debate Mark Schauer. And all across our state House and state Senate districts, these candidates are refusing to debate. They'll do anything to hide these facts, the fact that they cut $1 billion from schools, the fact they gave $1.8 billion tax break to corporations and tax pensions to pay for it. We're doing everything we can, Beverly, to pressure these candidates, using the media and using other organizations to pressure these candidates to have debates.
Thank you, Lon. We have time for one more question, so I'm going to ask Connie Anderson from Ludington if you would like to ask your question. Connie?
Oh, my question was that the DEQ seems to have lost so many personnel, and so they do not have time to actually monitor the drinking water and the standards of drinking water that they say should be met. And here on the shores of Lake Michigan, it's very, very important that we keep our water clean and drinkable. And with the brine lines that are throughout our county and Manistee County, it's noted that there's so many of them that they can't even keep up trying to find out how much contamination is actually in the ground. So I'm just wondering how the DEQ coordinates with the EPA to assure us that these aquifers will not be contaminated by all of the brine activity that's coming also probably from some of the fracking that will be happening up in the northern part of the state. And I'm really concerned that there's not enough attention being paid to all of these issues.
Thank you. Senator Whitmer, would you like to talk about how the Democrats are protecting our environment?
Absolutely. I think that the callers pointed out really a very specific values difference between where the Democratic Party is and where the Republicans are. When Governor Granholm was in office, the DEQ had the resources they needed and had the authority to go out and enforce the law and investigate and coordinate. And we have seen, departments are an extension of the executive branch. And this particular governor, that is not a priority. We are seeing radioactive waste coming into Michigan. There really shouldn't be a debate here. We should close our doors to that kind of stuff being imported into our state. Our water, it's everyone from Michigan talks about how important our Great Lakes are and all of our inland lakes and our streams and all of our waterways. And yet the policy gets decided from the executive office and it trickles down through department heads. And we've seen that this administration has not made it a priority. And I think that's one of the real, very, important issues that we've got to have a change in leadership to make sure that we actually really are protecting our waterways. Just enforcing the current laws on a book would be a step forward. But I would say, and I think, Mark Schauer would say, we need to go beyond that and protect and be advocates for our pristine water in Michigan.
Thank you, Senator Whitmer. We do have time for just one more question, and this one I think will be one that many people on the line might be interested in. Martha Germain from Ann Arbor has a question about teachers. Martha, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, first, I think this is a fabulous idea, what you're doing right now. Secondly, I would like to know what the legislature and what the Democratic leaders in Michigan are going to do about teacher bargaining rights, because it's really been a devastating situation in the schools, not only the $1 billion loss to the schools, but then teachers are really not allowed to bargain as we once did in years past. And for a profession that where the teachers are paid living wages, and good young people are encouraged to become teachers. So I'd like to know what you plan on doing about this issue.
Thank you, Martha. Senator?
Yes, happy to take that. And, Martha, you're right. It's a profession. Teaching is a profession. It's the profession my grandmother and my mother and my brother went into. And no one goes into teaching because it's lucrative. They go into teaching because they want to make a difference. They want to teach the young minds, the future leaders of our state, of our country, of our world. And to see what has happened in the last 4 years would have to be demoralizing to people in the profession of teaching, where their rights are under attack, their benefits, where just even the basic tools that we give teachers in terms of per pupil funding in the classrooms. I've got 2 kids in public schools here in East Lansing, and they both started middle school last week. And I have seen their class sizes increase each year. They're lucky. They go to a school that is, has not struggled as badly as some, but every school and every teacher has been just almost demonized by the current administration and legislature. And I have to tell you, watching the Republicans and the governor say that they have given schools an increase this year just galls me, because I know the truth. And the truth is they gave schools an enormous cut 4 years ago, and adding increment by increment in the last 3 years does not mean you've increased them. It's not even to where it was when Governor Snyder took over. What we need is to throw them out of office and put people in there that value our schools, that know education is the most important economic development that we can spend money on, and that this is going to be a priority in our budget. And I know Mark Schauer will do that, and I know that a Democratic legislature will send him the bills that he can sign. It's not just good enough to have a governor to veto bad stuff. We've got to have a legislature that delivers and makes education a priority, and I think that is maybe the most important issue in this campaign for the majority of people in our state.
Well, thank you. And just a reminder, if you're on the line, if you'd like to make a donation to the Michigan Democratic Party tonight, you can press 7, and you'll be connected to an operator immediately to make a donation to the Michigan Democratic Party. Again, just press 7 on your phone keypad. And I'm sorry that we weren't able to get to every question tonight, but I want to give Lon and Senator Whitmer just a moment to make some closing remarks. So, Lon, we'll start with you.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank everyone, everyone that joined us on the call today. This was an overwhelming success. I couldn't agree more with that last caller. We'll do more of these based just on the success of tonight. We've got 56 more days to go out there and make our case to the voters of Michigan. We need you. We've got everything we need. We've got the candidates. We've got the issues on our side. We've got the voters on our side. We've got the plan to win. We need you. Let's go win. Thank you very much for being on the call tonight.
Thank you. And Senator Whitmore?
Well, and I want to thank you as well. You know, this is exciting. I might not be on the ballot this year, but I am really, really excited about our prospects going into November. We know that if we turn out, we win. And the stakes are so high when we're talking about our kids' classrooms to our seniors' pension tax and all of the working people in between. Every one of us has a personal reason to get out and vote in this year, and we've just got to work together and turn out our vote and band together, and I'm very excited about it, and I appreciate all of your help.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us on this call. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get to every question, but if you are interested in an absentee ballot, you can visit myabsentee, that's myabsentee.com, to get access to an absentee ballot application. And if you have additional questions about voting absentee or about what you can do to help the Michigan Democratic Party this election cycle, please stay on the line and you will be able to leave a voicemail at the end of this call. Again, thanks for your time and have a great night.